All right, thumbs at the ready, everybody. We're diving deep into the world of Anbernic's RG handhelds.
Your ticket to retro gaming heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got this awesome guide comparing the whole lineup.
Yeah, and trust
It's
that.
more diverse than a classic arcade,
Totally. We're talking vertical, horizontal.
even a clamshell.
Oh yeah, clamshell. It'll take you right back to the 90s.
Oh man, makes me think of my old Game Boy Advance SP. So by the end of this deep dive,
No more analysis paralysis.
you'll know exactly which Anbernic handheld is right for you.
So before we get lost in the specifics of each model,
Yeah, good idea.
what makes this whole RGXX line so special? I mean, these aren't just cheap emulator boxes.
Right.
We're talking custom Linux here.
Yeah.
Preloaded with emulators. Everything from NES and Game Boy
Classics.
all the way up to PlayStation 1,
Hold on.
even PSP and Dreamcast on some models.
PSP and Dreamcast on a handheld. That's wild. I remember trying to get those to run smoothly on my desktop back in the day.
It's amazing, right? Emulation has come such a long way.
And Anbernic is really making the most of it.
For sure. Plus, they all have micro SD card slots.
Oh, nice.
Support up to 512 GB.
So you're saying my entire retro game library could fit in my pocket?
Pretty much.
Okay, I'm sold already. But what about charging? Am I going to be digging out my old mini USB cable?
Nope. They all use USB-C.
Oh, thank goodness.
But here's the thing. Even beyond the hardware, huge community support,
Oh, nice. Like what?
custom firmware, tweaks, tons of resources to make these devices even better.
You know, it's not just the hardware, it's the software and the community that takes it to the next level.
I think so too.
Okay, let's break down each device. First up, the RG35XX.
OG.
Classic vertical design. Super affordable, starting at just $45.99.
Yep, your gateway to the 8-bit and 16-bit world. That 3.5-inch IPS display is perfect for those pixelated graphics.
Ah, the nostalgia.
Now here's something interesting. The original RG35XX, the one with dual boot, that's the only one that can run Garlic OS.
Garlic.
Yeah, very popular custom firmware. The rest of the XCubeXX series has other options like MiOS,
Right.
MinUI, and KNLAI. All amazing in their own right.
So even within the RGXX line, there's variety in the software too. And that's just the first device. Now, for those who want a little more power, there's the RG35XX Plus set.
Yeah, think of it as the RG35XX.
But bigger.
Well, same form factor, but with a much better processor, more RAM,
Okay.
more storage.
Yeah.
Means smoother performance, especially for PlayStation 1.
So when those polygons start getting a little crazy, the Plus version can handle it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what about that super tiny device? The one that looks like it could get lost in my pocket?
Ah, you're talking about the RG28XX.
It's the one. Starts at just $29.99. But can something that small handle anything beyond, like, the most basic retro systems?
You'd be surprised, the RG28XS can handle quite a lot.
Really?
It's incredible how they miniaturize the tech without sacrificing performance these days.
All right, so we've covered the vertical crew.
The RG35XX, RG35XX Plus MAR, and the pocket-sized RG28XX.
Right. Now, for those who love the feel of a classic horizontal handheld, there's the RG35XX H.
The H stands for horizontal, of course.
Naturally. How do the specs on this one compare to the vertical RG35XX Plus Bay?
Very similar, actually. It's more about personal preference.
So RG35X Plus versus RG35XX H, it comes down to whether you prefer vertical or horizontal.
Exactly.
I like it. And for the nostalgic folks out there, those who miss that clamshell design,
Oh yeah,
Anbernic has the RG35XX XSP.
a tribute to the Game Boy Advance SP.
Totally.
But even more stylish.
It comes in like 7 different colors, right?
7. More variety than a bag of Skittles.
Okay, that's serious. But clamshells are more than just looks. They protect that precious screen.
Oh, absolutely. Vital for a portable device.
For sure. Now let's talk about the big boys. The RG40XX XV. A massive 4-inch screen. Barely their bezels.
Full immersion.
And the V, you guessed it, stands for vertical.
You got it.
So this is for the people who want that big screen but still love that vertical orientation. What's the standout feature on this one?
Well, aside from the screen,
Yeah.
it's got RGB lighting on the analog sticks.
What?
RGB.
Yeah, customizable colors and effects.
That's so cool. I love little details like that.
Me too.
Now, I remember seeing a horizontal version of this one too, right? The RG40XX H.
You have a sharp eye.
Huh?
It's essentially the RG40XXV's twin, but horizontal. Same screen, same RGB analog sticks.
Got it. So it's another vertical versus horizontal preference. And with a 4-inch screen, either way, those retro games are going to look fantastic. Now, I have to ask about the most unique looking device in the lineup. The RG CubeXX. I mean, this thing is unlike anything else I've seen.
It's a real head turner.
Totally.
And a lot of people say it's the most comfortable device in the entire RG CubeXX family.
Oh, wow. And that square screen, it's 3.95 inches.
Yep, with a 720 by 720 resolution. Perfect for those classic arcade games.
So it's not just for looks, it serves a purpose.
Exactly.
And this is a more budget-friendly version of the original RG Cube, right?
That's right. So Anbernic is making retro gaming accessible to everyone.
I love that. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the affordable RG35XX,
The OG.
to the unique RG CubeXX. It's an impressive lineup, but I know what our listeners are thinking. Which one is right for me?
And that's what we're going to tackle next. Stay tuned.
Okay, so how do you choose the right Anbernic Rgxx handheld?
Well, first you got to ask yourself, what kind of gamer are you?
Right.
Are you all about portability?
Yeah, like slipping it in your pocket for a quick gaming session on the go.
Exactly. If that's you, the RG28XX is your best bet.
It's so tiny, but we already talked about how powerful it is for its size.
It's pretty amazing.
Now maybe you want that classic vertical handheld feel.
Like the Game Boy Advance or the PSP.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
So many great options for that. The RG35XX is perfect if you're mainly interested in 8-bit and 16-bit games.
It's affordable too.
Absolutely. A great entry point.
And if you want something a little more powerful,
Yeah.
there's the RG35XX Plus. Same vertical design, but with more horsepower.
Handles those PlayStation 1 games like a champ.
Exactly. Don't forget about the RG40XX V.
Oh yeah, the one with the huge screen.
Massive 4-inch display.
Yeah.
And if you like those RGB lit analog sticks,
So cool.
it's got those too.
Okay, so we've got vertical covered. What about horizontal?
Well, if you like that classic landscape layout, there's the RG35XX H.
Similar specs to the RG35XX Plus?
Yep. Pretty much the same, just a different orientation.
Got it. So another vertical versus horizontal decision. And of course, for the clamshell lovers out there,
Oh yeah.
we can't forget about the RG35XX SP.
A true beauty. Protects that screen.
Plus, it comes in all those cool colors.
So stylish.
All right, so we've talked about portability, vertical, horizontal, clamshell. What about comfort?
Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
Especially for long gaming sessions.
Exactly. No one wants hand cramps.
Well, the RG CubeXX is designed with ergonomics in mind.
It really is a unique shape.
And super comfortable to hold.
And perfect for those arcade games with that square screen. Now, budget is a big factor for a lot of people.
It is. But the great thing about the RGXX line is that there's something for everyone.
The RG35XX and RG28XX are both under $50.
Amazing value.
If you want to spend a little more,
Yeah.
the RG35XX Plus and RG35XX H are usually around $60.
Makes sense.
And for the big screen models,
Like the RG40XX V and RG40XX.
yeah, those are usually around $70.
Still a great price for what you're getting.
Same with the clamshell, the RG35X SP. And rounding it out, the RG CubeXX is also in that $70 range.
So there's really an option for every budget.
For sure. But beyond price and form factor, you should also think about what systems you want to play.
Right. If you're mainly into 8-bit and 16-bit games, the entry-level models will do just fine.
But if you want to play PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, even PSP,
Yeah, you'll need one of the more powerful models.
it's worth doing some research and seeing what other people are saying about performance.
Absolutely. Emulation can be a little tricky sometimes,
Another thing to consider is battery life.
especially if you're gaming on the go.
The bigger screen models tend to drain the battery faster.
That makes sense. And let's not forget about the software side of things.
The custom firmware options are amazing.
Right. Some people like the simplicity of the stock firmware, but others really like to tinker and customize.
It's great to have that flexibility.
It is. And you can always switch back to the stock firmware if you want,
Exactly. And some people really care about customization.
like the look and feel of the device.
Yeah, exactly. Like the RG35XX SP with all its color options.
Oh, yeah. That one's a real standout.
And the RGB lighting on the RG40XX V and RG40XX H.
It's the little things.
They make a big difference. So to recap, consider your preferred form factor, budget, the systems you want to play,
Battery life.
software
And
preferences.
customization options.
You got it.
It's all about finding that perfect fit.
Exactly. Now, here's something that I find really cool. These Anbernic handhelds, they're incredibly moddable.
Wait, you mean like actually modifying the hardware?
Yeah.
Wow. That's next level. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, the Anbernic community is full of talented people who've created some amazing mods.
What kind of mods are we talking about?
Well, you can upgrade the screens, for example. Swap out the stock screen for a higher resolution one.
Oh, wow. To make those retro games look even better.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And you can improve the buttons and joysticks too.
So you can get a better feel.
Yep. Better tactile feedback, sensitivity, durability, you name it.
So if you're really serious about a specific genre or game, you can customize the hardware to match.
Pretty much. And for the hardcore modders out there, you can even add features like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
No way. To models that don't have them built in.
Yep. It's incredible what people have come up with.
That's taking it to a whole new level, turning these handhelds into like mini retro consoles that you can totally customize.
I know, right? It's amazing. The community is constantly pushing the limits.
It's really impressive.
But now I know what you're thinking. This sounds awesome, but I'm no tech expert.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, the good news is you don't need to be a hardware guru to get into modding.
Oh, good.
The community is super helpful.
Okay, that's good to know.
There are tons of resources online, tutorials, forums, step-by-step guides.
So even a modding newbie like me can figure it out.
Absolutely. You can start with simple mods and work your way up.
That's a good approach. Start small.
It's a fun journey, and that feeling of accomplishment when you successfully mod your Anbernic handheld.
I bet.
It's amazing. It's like you're really taking ownership of your retro gaming experience. And that's what I love about these Anbernic devices. It's more than just the hardware.
It's the community.
The spirit of customization. The possibilities are endless.
It's really cool.
It's a testament to the power of retro gaming, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And to the passionate people who keep it alive.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about the Anbernic RgXX handhelds.
We really have gone in depth.
We've talked about the different models, their features, the pros and cons, and even modding.
We've given our listener a lot to think about.
Hopefully enough to inspire them to start their own retro gaming journey.
But before we wrap up, I have a question for our listener.
Oh, I love a good question. Hit me.
With all these incredible retro handhelds coming out and the passionate communities around them, do you think handheld retro gaming is making a comeback? Or has it never really gone away?
That's a great question. It's clear that retro gaming is having a moment right now.
It really is.
And these handheld devices are a big part of it. But is it a comeback? Or has that retro love always been there? You know, it's like everything old is new again, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's that simplicity.
I think it's the lack of microtransactions for me.
Uh-huh. That too. But these handhelds, they're like a portal to our childhood.
They are, but they also introduce a new generation to retro gaming. And honestly, some of those older games, they still hold up.
Absolutely. The gameplay, the art, the music, timeless.
And now you can experience it all in a new way. Like, remember those old Game Boy Color screens?
Fuzzy pixels.
Limited colors.
Yeah. But now we've got these beautiful IPS displays.
Powerful processors.
Thousands of games on a tiny micro SD card. It's amazing how far we've come.
It really is. And the modding scene. That's a whole other level.
I know, right? People swapping out screens, upgrading buttons, even adding Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
It's WBIY, but for retro gaming.
Exactly. There's such a sense of community, too.
Oh, yeah, people are constantly pushing the limits, sharing their knowledge.
It's awesome. It's like a global network of retro gamers.
Yeah.
All connected by those pixels. And that's what's so exciting about this. You're not just choosing a device, you're joining a movement.
I love that.
So to answer your question, I don't think handheld retro gaming is just making a comeback. I think it's evolving.
It's becoming something even better.
Exactly. It's a great time to be a retro gamer.
The future is bright.
It really is.
Yeah.
So there you have it. The world of Anbernic's RgXX handhelds. We've talked about everything.
The models, the features, the pros and cons, even modding.
We've given you the knowledge, the insights, hopefully the inspiration to start your own retro gaming adventure.
Now it's time to choose your weapon.
Load it up with your favorite game.
And rediscover the magic.
And hey, maybe you'll even become an Anbernic modder yourself.
Contribute to the community.
Why not? So until next time, happy gaming.